Well, welcome. My name is Ben Magi. I'm the pastor here at Grace Wesleyan Church here in Watertown, New York. I wanted to bring a message to you today called The Weary World's Reaction to Christmas. What's your reaction to Christmas? Well, this is what this message is going to be about. First of all, I want to get into talking about geocaching. That'll kind of a lead-in to what I want to discuss with you about the weary world's reaction to Christmas. In geocaching, it is called a real-world outdoor treasure hunting using what they call a GPS-enabled device. And that is a global positioning system device, big technical term that we can impress our friends with. But the GPS here is actually on your phones or on your Android devices, and what that does is when you poke in an address, what it does is it tells you how to get there. Sometimes you have a dedicated device called a GPS, and it's telling you where to go. Sometimes those silly things will lead you out into Timbuktu sometimes. But they're using a GPS system, and what they're doing is it's going to navigate them to where this treasure is. So there are people out there they'll take a geocaching, which is a hidden treasure, they'll put it somewhere in a tree, in a park, on a bench somewhere, or some stone. They'll put it in some very unique places. And then they'll go, and on their Android device, they have what they call an app, which is a program that they can put in there where that position is of that device. And then you, as a participant, can tap into this program, and it's going to lead you to where that device is. And when you get into that area, you're not going to find it. You may not find it instantly, but you may have to do some searching around. You may have to look under some leaves or look up in the tree, in the crotch of a tree. You're going to have to do some searching around to find it. But I actually went on one of these once before, and it was kind of exciting. And it's neat because you get to go around and you get to see some places you might have not seen some places in your town before. But it's kind of exciting to see. And sometimes people have reported that when they have found these treasures, they're going, well, this was what I worked for. And they were really disappointed. There was a lot of various reactions. Some people are, oh, look what I found when I got this here. And it's just an addiction for some people. Well, this leads me into our message. Just like there was certain reactions to geocaching, it's exciting and sometimes disappointing. There was also a reaction to the Christ child as well. There was some wise men from the east that did some geocaching of themselves, except they did not have the modern technology today. They didn't have a GPS that, let's just pull out our cell phones and let's go find Bethlehem. And no, they didn't have that. But they went on to a geocaching adventure. They followed a star. They saw a star in the east, and they had done obviously some research on it, and this led them onto a geocaching adventure. And I want you, or like you to do, is join with me in this here out of Matthew chapter 2 of a geocaching adventure the wise men went on. But I want you to see as we read through this, the reaction the world had to this adventure, of this story that they heard from the wise men. And from this here is what we're going to learn is how we have the same type of reaction these wise men did. I'm going to be reading out of the King James Version, starting in Matthew chapter 2, and it says this. Now after Jesus was born in Bethlehem of Judea in the days of Herod the king, behold, wise men from the east came to Jerusalem. I'm going to pause there for one moment because I want to highlight something. It does not say that 3 wise men came from the east. It just said wise men from the east. Tradition has put it into our minds that it had been 3 people. Continuing on. Wise men from the east came to Jerusalem, saying, where is he who had been King of the Jews, for we had seen his star in the east and have come to worship him. So I want to highlight something else here. They had seen his star in the east, meaning that there had been some time. They saw the star, but they didn't go right away. Some commentators are saying at least 2 years or less that the wise men set out on the adventure to investigate, go on this geocaching mission here to find the King of the Jews. Let's read on. We have seen a star in the east and have come to worship him. Verse 3 of chapter 2. When Herod the king heard this, he was troubled, and all Jerusalem with him. And when he gathered all the chief priests and the scribes of the people together, he inquired of them where the Christ child was to be born. So they said to him, in Bethlehem of Judea, for thus it is written by the prophet. But you, Bethlehem, in the land of Judah, are not the least among the rulers of Judah, for out of you shall come a ruler who will shepherd my people Israel. Then Herod, when he had secretly called the wise men, determined from them what time the star appeared. There again, it supports the what the commentators said about the wise men had seen the star, but it was sometime later, and they're figuring probably 2 years or later, where they went and visited the Christ child. And you can read that in verse 16, where Herod had determined the time from the wise men in which the child was born, and he killed everybody from 2 years old down below. 2 years old and younger. Okay, so Herod, verse 7, when he had secretly called the wise men, determined from what time the star appeared, and he sent them to Bethlehem and said, hey, go and search carefully for the young child. And when you have found him, bring him word to me, that I may come and worship him also. Look out for that statement. When they heard the king, they departed, and behold, the star which they had seen in the east went before them, till it came and stood over where the young child was. Did you notice it said child and not infant? When they saw the star, they rejoiced with exceedingly great joy. When they had come into the house, they saw the young child with Mary his mother, and fell down and worshipped him. And when they had opened their treasures, they presented him gifts of gold, frankincense, and myrrh. Then, being divinely warned in a dream that they should not return to Herod, they departed from their own country and went another way. So, Magi, wise men from the east, from another country, saw the star, must have did some inquiry, and decided to set out on an adventure years later to find the Christ child. They come to Herod in Jerusalem and say, hey, we saw the star. We are looking for him who has been born of the King of the Jews, for we have seen a star in the east and come to worship him. So they come to him, and then we hear that Herod's troubled, Jerusalem's troubled. So here on this geocaching mission here, they're excited to find this treasure, but now there's all this trouble that's taken place. And now we see the reaction of the weary world in Jerusalem. There was troubling times for Herod in Jerusalem. We see here as well that the religious leaders are indifferent to what's taking place. Just another event in today's history, and now we'll just go back to our regular ways. And then we also see what the Magi did, and that was worship him. Let's look at those three things. The first reaction to the world here, to the Christ child being born, was trouble. Herod was troubled, the people were troubled. Wise men came to them, where's the King of the Jews? Where's the King of the Jews is what the wise men said. When Herod heard that, bing, his antennas went up. It's like, what? King of the Jews? Hey, throne is being threatened. We need to do something. And look, in this passage here, listen to what sneaky little Herod does. He's a usurper of the throne that he is sitting on. He did not rightly sit on that throne because he was king over the Jews. Rome appointed him, is what commentary said. But he's usurping that, and he has been murderous and protecting that throne. Any hint of anybody threatening his throne, lights out for them. But listen to this. Here, this is what I wanted to point out to you here. Herod starts doing is he starts conniving a little plan. Oh, really? King of the Jews. Threat. We're going to try to murder him, but I'm not telling the wise men, but I got a plan in place. Listen to what he does. So Herod did is after he inquired of the wise, of the religious